Domestic Abuse 7-Minute Snippet Series. Number 3, Safe Enquiry. This short training snippet is part of a series of sessions created by Oasis Domestic Abuse Service in partnership with East Kent DA Forum. This is part 3 of 5 snippets. The others are signs of abuse, safety planning, signposting and support, understanding risk. These snippets were created to give busy people the opportunity to use 7 minutes it takes to have a coffee break, to give you a very basic understanding of domestic abuse, allow you to feel more comfortable to ask about the abuse, and offer some support before signposting to services while considering risk. We ask all managers to allow their staff the 5 additional coffee breaks it takes to watch this series. A minimum of 2 people a week are killed by someone that they believe loved them. How many of those could have received some support if we knew enough just to ask them? So the process. We need to ask about abuse with confidence, because if we ask with confidence, it gives victims more ability to feel safe in answering to us. We need to make sure that we validate messages. It's imperative that we document what's going on as professionals and refer on to the right service. So how do we ask? Well, we normalise the question. If you're a professional that works with many people, then ask the question of everybody. Do you feel safe at home? Ask in private, because I'm not going to be able to answer you if I don't feel safe to do so. We need to consider confidentiality. Be clear about how much of that information you have to share with others. And there will be times that you have to share that information for others, particularly when somebody's at high risk or when there are children involved. Please use non-judgmental tones and language. It can take something very minor that you say that prevents me from continuing what I was going to tell you. And develop your own words and style for asking me. If you've got confidence, I'm more likely to tell you. So there are a number of things that you can say, but the most important is, I believe you. It's not your fault. I want you to be safe, which is why we consider safety plans. You don't deserve this, because no one will deserve to feel so unsafe in their own home, in their own relationship. Recognise that this is important. What you're being told is so important. Above all, please make sure that you ask what they need. It's very easy for us to jump in and take over. And actually, we just sometimes need to ask, what do you need? I'm so glad you told me can make somebody feel really validated for what they're telling you. And if you're able, tell them that you're there to talk again, should you need to in the future. And you've been given a gift, a secret that they've probably not told anybody else. So thanking them for trusting you is really important too. Be aware of language when asking. You might hear things like, it was only an argument. It was only because they'd had a stressful day at work. They just sometimes get unhappy with me. If I was better, if I was more organised, it just wouldn't have happened. They didn't know what they were doing. They saw red. It's not their fault. It was my fault. It was just an argument. And it doesn't happen very often. They can be really lovely. We're okay most of the time. It was just stress. The government's creation of the coercive and controlling behaviour offence in 2015 means that victims who experience the type of behaviour that stops short of serious physical violence but amounts to extreme psychological and emotional abuse can bring their perpetrators to justice. While the offence could carry a maximum of 5 years imprisonment, a fine is far more likely. The law says that controlling and coercive behaviour can only happen if the person doing the controlling or coercive behaviour is personally connected to the victim. So you have to have been in that relationship in some way. So if, as a professional, someone has disclosed coercive and controlling behaviour to you, it's really important that you collect that evidence. That evidence could be isolating a person from their friends and family, depriving them of their basic needs, monitoring their time, monitoring a person via online communication tools such as using spyware, taking control over aspects of their everyday life such as where they go, who they can see, what to wear, and where they even sleep, depriving them of access to support services such as specialist support or even medical services. repeatedly putting them down, such as telling them that they're worthless, control of finances, such as allowing a person an allowance rather than money to be able to do as they need to with their money, threats to hurt or kill, threats to a child. Maybe you're told of an assault, criminal damage, such as destruction of household goods, basically preventing a person from being able to lead a normal life. Please record this information, as that could be evidence that the police use in the future. Barriers to victim engagement. Fear of the perpetrator is going to be the number one reason why nobody talks about their abuse. But fear of reprisals from agencies such as social services also has an impact. Maybe their mental health is so bad that just getting out of bed and getting their children to school this morning was enough, was all they could do today. The thought of leaving that abusive relationship is totally beyond them at this time. Maybe they feel guilty. Maybe they feel embarrassed. Maybe they've spoken to you before but went back into a relationship having fled. Maybe they just don't have the resource to be able to end that relationship. But more importantly, maybe their previous response to disclosure was a barrier. Were you judging me? Have you judged me now? It's important to remember that even when a victim remains with a violent partner or returns to the situation, there are many, many reasons for this. No one enjoys being physically abused or invites abuse. Nobody ever enjoys living in fear. What now? Please watch the other 4 snippet sessions. If you're a manager, please allow for those 4 additional coffee breaks. If this is happening to someone you know or work with, you can call local or national helplines such as the free phone National Domestic Abuse Helpline on 0808 2000 24/7 for women. For men, the Men's Advice Line on 0808 80 10 327. And if you identify as LGBT+, call Gallup on 0800 999 5428. For forced marriage or honour crimes, you could call Carmen Nirvana on 0800 5999 247. But if you think that someone is at serious or immediate risk, you must call the police on 999, being clear about your concerns. And please ensure that you're making safeguarding referrals as appropriate. Please never judge. The biggest barrier to someone disclosing domestic abuse is previous unhelpful or negative responses. How would you want to be treated if this was you?